back to another episode of the Moz House Podcast. I'm your host, Hunter B. Gunn. I'm here with our current exhibiting artist, Sueey Gutierrez. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
I cannot believe I said that right, almost properly.
No, I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. This was definitely one of the hardest intros ever. But thank you so much for being on the podcast. I know you are a fan, and that makes me very happy. And I was like, okay, now I got to really up the ante on this podcast. So we got some good questions, some interesting concepts, and you had to talk about your very cool art, which I would like you to tell everyone about.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a fan of the podcast. But as for my artwork, it focuses on my culture. I'm first generation American. My family's from El Salvador, and we're from Mayan descent. So I like to celebrate that within my work using strong female figures and within mixed media. So I tend to work two-dimensionally, and I work with acrylics. Gouache was strongly for the first time was strongly influenced for me in the show, and then also acrylic paint.
You say gouache?
Mm-hmm. Gouache.
So what's that?
So gouache is it's a really interesting medium. So it is, think about if watercolors and tempera paint had a baby, and that's gouache paint. So it's really great. It's very graphic. It's very matte. And if you put it on paper, at least for me, it's a nightmare. But if you put it on if you prepare wood panel, which is typically what I use, I love painting on wood panel because I don't like canvas. It's too squishy and I'm scared of punching a hole into it if I'm angry or whatever. So, which could happen if I'm frustrated. But I use wood panel. If you prepare it with gesso, it glides. It's really cool. It's like watercolor that slides. I really enjoyed it.
Now I want to try painting with it.
Definitely. I mean, I had to watch a few YouTube tutorials as to how to use it. And I see my friends that are also artists use it. I'm like, I need to tackle this. And on wood panel is wonderful. Once you put a gesso on it, on paper, that's a little interesting. I got frustrated doing it, actually.
It is very interesting that I feel like recently more and more people are using wood in their artwork, or as the thing they paint on. Mm-hmm. How did you discover now I'm going to start painting on wood?
A friend recommended me to use wood panel. She had a show and she mentioned that I should try playing with it, and I did. So, and I really loved it. I'm like, screw canvas. I'm going to stick to this because I like to draw a lot, and usually you're on a flat surface and you're drawing, and it kind of mimics that feeling of a harder surface, and I really like that.
Okay, so a few questions about your drawings. What do you like to draw with? Pencil or pen?
That's a hard one. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a moody person, so that can fluctuate by the minute or the day. But for the most part, pencil.
Pencil, really?
Pencil, yeah.
So I personally love to draw in pencil. I just feel like I can only shade with a pencil, but I love writing on a pen, a really nice pen, personally. I
like pen because for writing, because it's a little bit more permanent, and if you believe in journaling and stuff like that, it's really nice for that.
Interesting. Maybe we might have someone walking through, but as long as they don't make too much noise, we can just keep going. Okay, so it seems like you use at least a bunch of different materials in your artwork. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other mediums that you partake in?
I've been playing a lot with gold leaf. I've been on a gold leaf kick for the last 6 years.
Wow.
I love to use it as accent pieces, and I just think it adds a richness to the work. And who doesn't like gold? I mean, at first it was I'm not gonna lie, it was a pain to work with because once for example, when you put the glue down, you have to wait 30 minutes for it to dry, and then you have to take the gold leaf likes to stick on your hand, so you have to work quickly, and then you can't keep it for long, so you have to peel it off or brush it off, and then if you're using sheets, it breaks away because it's so fragile. So you have to almost sweep it into a container for you to keep everything, because you could reuse this material, but it's very delicate. And so what could take, just on like, for example, I have like a halo on Renacer en las Aguas de Mancagua, which is a piece that I have in the show. Probably the halo took about, with drying and all that, maybe 2 hours.
Wow.
But it's fun. I like it. And people enjoy seeing it when I do like little videos and stuff, like, oh my God, gold. It's like glitter.
Of the videos, yeah. I think it was a video of the painting of Brianna.
Okay.
And you were just pouring so much gold leaf on there. I was like, what the hell? How much gold leaf do you need on there? And then it was just gone. It was just like perfect. I was like, interesting. Did you pour extra gold leaf for the video, or is that how much you need to put on?
No,
there?
That's how much I need to put on, because it is like process of elimination. You don't know what's going to stick and what is not. So that's why you have to go over it again. And mind you, there's people that have been doing this for years and they have it to science. I'm still learning. 5 years sounds like a lot, but is it really? So I'm still learning as I go.
Jeez. I was thinking that I guess 6 months ago now, I was finally hit 6 months in like doing either just my whole job here at Ma's house. And I was like, oh no, I finally don't suck at my job now, because it's been 6 months. That's like, you're pretty bad at your job for 6 months at least. And now I'm like, God damn it. I still got 5. I'm only been doing this for like a year and a quarter. So now
you have a few podcasts in your belt, because I've listened, because there's like certain podcasts I like tune into when I'm painting, and I'm in my car a lot. So I like to listen to podcasts. So I'm like, you have a few, so I think you're good.
You made me so happy when I think it was at the friend raiser is when we first met, and I was so, you're like, oh, you do the podcast, listen on them. I was like, we have a fan. Someone's tuning in out there. I know it. And so that was really nice meeting people. There was only one other time someone was like, oh yeah, you do the podcast, right? I'm like, yeah, I do. And then they didn't say they liked it or anything. I was like, oh God, I wonder if they even like this at all. So it's interesting. Well, do you have a favorite medium to work with?
That's a good question. I think it would have to be acrylic. There's a few. Acrylic, now gouache, and I really enjoy pastels. Pastels is like effortless for me. Like I could smudge with my thumb and I get the shading that I want. It's so nice.
Wow.
I really like it a lot.
It's like a secret ability right there.
Yeah, it's just like, ooh, look, blush on the cheek. Awesome.
Do you have anything that's not like painting related mediums that you want to try?
Oh wow, that's a really good question and a hard one. As of right now, I'm gonna have to say no. There's not, like I wanted to tackle gouache, I tackled it. I'm sure I'll come across something else, but there's nothing that comes to mind right now.
Wow, I'm excited. Well, I'll have to check back in like a year. Is there anything new with that? All right. So when I was doing some of my research, it was actually very hard to, I think I mentioned it, but it was very hard to find stuff out about you. So I had to, usually what I do is I'll look people up on Google. That's how I always start. And then I won't go on their website. That's like not the first thing I try. I try to avoid their website for as long as I can and find out like anything else I can just figure out. So I was running into some problems with that. There's a lot of articles of like events you were at, and then there was one interview you had with your friend that we mentioned before, and it was a video interview with audio that I did not want to watch because I didn't want to steal their ideas. I mentioned, so I was like, God damn it! Now I'm gonna have to go to your website and start looking at stuff. And so the one thing that really caught my eye is, how did you get a scholarship at 6 years old?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. So I'm originally from Brooklyn, and my mom was a single mom for a while, so she had a group of friends that were either single moms or were like had, their husbands were busy, so they had to team up to do things with their kids on the weekend. And I always used to like have a paper and markers or pens so I can stay entertained, because mom wanted to speak to her girlfriends or whatever. And we'd just go to events at the Brooklyn Museum. And one day we bumped into the executive director, or I bumped into him because I was probably running around or something, and I had my little folder of stuff, and he saw it, and he started talking to my mom like, oh, we have a children's program, and it would be a good idea if, you know, your daughter were to enroll for the scholarship, and I got in, so that's how that happened.
Well, I didn't even get any scholarships when I went to college. You're getting them at 6 years old.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say to that.
No, it's just crazy. It's just crazy that you were showing so much talent at such a young age, and then what was I drawing when I was 6? I think I was drawing comic books that was trying to be funny.
My mom said that I would draw my dreams.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I would draw my dreams. So, and she showed her friend a piece of my work, and her you know, her daughter and I would go to like ballet classes and stuff together. And she's like, oh, you know, you should really look into getting Sueey into these programs. And my mom, you know, has always been very supportive, and she encouraged me to go forward with it. But she said the first one was that our window was open in our apartment, and there was like a dragon coming in.
Wow.
Into the kitchen. And I was just sitting there staring at this thing like, what are you doing here?
I was going to ask you, were these like nightmares? Were they nice, fun dreams?
Unfortunately, I tend to have more nightmares.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that happen?
I have no idea. I don't want them to happen,
You know,
but they just do.
I used to get a lot of nightmares as a kid too. But then they just start, I don't know what happened. They just kind of stopped, and now they're more like, they just don't, they exist. I think I dreamed them.
Everyone dreams, yeah.
And then, but they don't like feel like nightmares anymore. Now it feels like my perspective. It used to be like first person in my dreams. Now it's no longer first person in my dreams usually. So I guess that's not why they're as scary anymore. Like just the other night, so I have like really crazy dreams all the time. I'm gonna make an animated series about them one day called
That's
Dreams. Cool. But very recently, the entire Earth got destroyed, and these aliens came right before they got destroyed, and we're like, Hunter, you want to come on a space adventure? Mm-hmm. And so then I just went with them. And then, most of my dreams like that end up with me being shot, and then I wake up. Happens like all the time.
Have you looked up the meanings behind it?
Of me getting shot before? Yeah. No, because now I didn't even think about doing that. Now I'm kind of afraid to look it up.
That's what I do when I have like a nightmare or something. I look up the meaning of the action, and like I could relate to you dreaming in like first person, but I also feel like I'm in other people's bodies sometimes. It's really strange. I'm a little bit nervous talking about it because I don't want people to think I'm weird.
No worries. I mean, it's a dream. Most dreams are crazy anyway. I think I'm strange. A lot of my dreams honestly ended up with me being shot at the end by one in particular. That was the best dream ever at first. I was very young. I was Spider-Man.
Oh, that's cool.
I like saved the day, like had this giant battle. And then after it was over, I went to the deli, and there was like a robbery in the back. And I just like beat like the biggest villain, most powerful villain ever. And then the guy just like, I like jump on the ceiling, and the guy just turns around with a shotgun and shoots me in the stomach. And I'm like, and I wake up, I was like, how the hell did I lose that fight as Spider-Man? I got shot in the stomach, woke up, and it was like, you know when like you fall, like your arm falls asleep, and like it like feels all tingly?
Yep.
So like that was like my whole chest area for the rest of the day. So like every time I get shot, usually that part of my body falls asleep for the rest of the day, which is really weird. It's like a ghost limb.
I would definitely Google that, or get a book on like dreams and their meanings. I definitely look into that.
Yeah, now I definitely really need to look into it because it keeps happening. It's happened at least 10 times in my dreams. And but most recent time, I did not wake up after I got shot. I went and I found a healer. I was like, "Can you heal me?" And they said, "Okay." And then they healed. I actually talked to people. I was like, "Can you take two people had magic powers? One of them took out the bullets from me, just made them like disappear, and then the other one was like, "Oh, I can just heal you now." And then they just healed me.
That's super significant, and that's actually a really powerful message. I would definitely look. What are you doing? You should definitely look into that.
I would have, a couple years ago, I would have been like, oh, this definitely means something. But now I wake up and I just write it down. Like, oh, this will be good for my show. How I've changed because of that.
No, but this time you can do both. Like, quickly jot it down. Because I do that sometimes when I'm driving and I'm thinking about artwork. I was like, most of my ideas happen when I'm driving in my car. Because I swear to God, I'm like, I just magically appear places. Because I'm horrible with maps and stuff. If I don't have the GPS, I'm always lost. But that's where I get most of my ideas. So I'll have a sticky note, or at a red light, I'll just write a note to myself. I'm like, oh, title of piece. This is what I want it to be.
It's so interesting because that's where I feel like driving a certain distances, like an hour distance, is like the perfect meditative drive for me. To where my ideals, like I'll come up with like music video ideas or like I'll come up with like a full movie idea in an hour just from driving. And it's interesting that you do too, because I haven't met anyone else. It's very like for me, that's like me meditating driving now.
For me, it's just like, honestly, the process of driving. Yes, you should folks, pay attention on the road. Don't do me like what I do, because clearly I don't. I like to think I'm a safe driver, but I don't know. But like when I drive, it's like the process of driving for me is boring. So that's where my mind goes. Like, it has like so many different thoughts. Like, I feel like sometimes my brain is like 2,000 tabs on your browser open at one time, and like just random thoughts are just shooting at the front of the screen, and that's basically like my brain.
Well,
so I'm having all these thoughts and ideas, and I was like, oh, like for example, a lot of the pieces here, like ideas that I got while driving in the car. I'm like, wow, that's a great idea. Like, she's coming out the water. Oh, let's do that. You know?
Well, that one on the left up there?
Yeah.
Yes. We might as well talk about the exhibit a little bit now. So, in my research, of course, let's see, where is it? Here we go. So, the first show that was listed was The Divine Feminine from 2010 in Williamsburg, New York. It's a long time ago.
Wow, yeah.
13 years. And hopefully you remember some things about that show. But I wanted to ask you, how does that show compare to your most recent one here at Ma's house?
Oh my God, so much growth. I look at I cringe. I cringe when you say that, because I have some of the work from that. Most of it, I've been fortunate that it's sold, but over the years. But it's just so much growth. I'm not the same person that I was who created that work. I like to think that over the years I've gotten better, technically, and it's just a lot of growth. And sometimes I can't even connect to those pieces anymore, because like, you know, you evolve and you grow. But it's awesome when you revisit it. Sometimes it's cringy. I'm like, oh, really? I created that? Like, there's some pieces when you create them, I'm like, oh my God, you think that they're so precious and they're so beautiful, and then you step away, and years later, because it's sold, I was like, wow, like I made that. Ew.
Yeah. I couldn't understand. 100% understand that. I made a bunch of. There's this one video I made in particular, music video, and it wasn't a music video. It was an announcement for a show that was happening for one of my friends. And he had done a few other shows, so he sent me people's Snapchat videos of him performing. So that's like vertically filmed with people put captions on the videos already there. He sent me a bunch of those with like filters on top of them. People were like putting like, it was like the app where people used to like put the dog faces on them.
Yeah.
So it was like stupid ass filters like that. A bunch of these videos. And then he wanted me to add the Joker talking about, there's like one scene where he's like, we are tonight's entertainment. So I had to add this Joker scene in there. And then I looked back recently, and I thought I did a good job back then. I looked back recently, I was like, oh my God, this might be the worst video ever. This is so bad. The sound quality is awful. I can't even see what I'm announcing. Why did he even tell me to do this stuff? Because back then I was like, well, as long as they're happy, I'm happy. Now I'm like, well, if I like it, then hopefully they like it. And they tell me to do something else, then I'll do it. That's how I've changed a little bit as an artist. If I'm hired to do something, I'll like take what they want me to do and I'll do it. But if I don't like it, then I'll have like a really hard time being like, okay, here you go. But if I like it, then I don't have a problem. Be like, oh, here, they'll probably love this too. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes you're like, oh, can you go back and fix this? Then I'm like, fine. Then I'll fix it. But going back, I thought that video was so good and they loved it. And then it's the worst. I should probably delete that off YouTube now.
But like at least what I do is sometimes if I feel bad about the things that I've made in the past, I was like, wow, like that's really cringe. So like I'll look at it and then I'll look at something recent that I made. I'm like, you know what? That's growth. That was baby you, and now you're grown, and look how much progress. That is the progress. You started with, ew, this thing, and now it's like, oh wow, this is acceptable to me now.
Yeah, this isn't so bad. Which I'll probably feel like about my work currently now. In like 5 years, I'll be like, damn, Hunter, Mom says let you put this shit out. But maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it won't be like that. And then I used to make like YouTube videos, like gaming videos on my little MacBook Pro when I was like 10 years old. And I recently found that YouTube channel, and I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, oh my God. And I was doing like voiceover videos of like basketball games and stuff. Those are actually still pretty funny. I was like, I should have been, I always knew I could be a comedian. So those are pretty funny, I will say. All right. I'll try to get back to the questions now. So, well, why do you make art?
Another great question. I feel it's my most easiest form of communication. Like, I'm not a big talker naturally. So I feel like I could communicate effectively what I want to say. And then I could also say as much as I want to communicate, as much as I want to say. I don't have to give all of it away. And I'm fortunate enough that people can resonate with it and connect with it. And for most part, sometimes I'm like, I feel kind of embarrassed because I feel so seen when the person fully understands what I'm trying to say. And they're like, is this what you meant? I'm like, who are you? And why are you pointing me out? But I guess it's good. It's good.
Actually, one of my questions is someone ever, so people understand your work. It's like that pretty, feel very vulnerable. But has anyone ever misunderstood your work so bad that you're like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yes. And I welcome the commentary because I find it very interesting because at the end of the day, like, our job as artists, I feel, is to make people think. Mm-hmm. And that they took the time to, like, that 5 minutes or whatever to absorb that information and formulate their own ideas. I know why I made it. I'm more interested in seeing what other people what kind of memories or thoughts cross their minds when they see the work. So that's what I'm interested in. But for the most part, like, in the beginning, I had a few pieces that were more sexy, more sexual. And people definitely had something to say about that. And it was very interesting, totally not what I had in mind, but cool. Good on you. Like, I'm happy for you that you so felt that way. Yeah.
I used to always have problems with getting it, like, my point across in my work. And then I finally made something. I was like, and someone random on the internet was like, knew exactly what I was like trying to get the point across. And I was like, I can do it. And then actually for the CRNY grant that we won, I put that video in there because I was like, this is the first time anyone ever understood what I was trying to do. So. Oh,
that's great.
Yeah. So that was, and then we won the grant. I don't think it had anything to do with us getting picked, but I was like, probably something more to do with Jeremy being awesome and Anthony's, and Brianna, of course. But you never know. Maybe they're like, this kid's special. Right here. Look at this video he made. Oh, we found his YouTube channel for 10 years ago. This is special. So, yeah.
They did their homework too.
Yeah, they probably to make sure it wasn't crazy.
Did. Yeah, they probably really did.
Yeah, once I sent that in, I did a whole clean sweep of my Instagrams and all my social medias because I knew they'd be looking for me, looking at what I was doing on there. I didn't have anything bad on there, but I was just like, I don't want these people to see what I was doing anyway. So,
I totally understand that.
Yeah. Speaking of Instagram, you have a very long Instagram, and the first post. So this is something I can do now. I try to do a deep dive on people's Instagram, and
oh wow, what do you think?
So very unexpected. They really did not expect this to be your first post. You did a 9-foot mural of for Zelka Energy Solutions of a painting of an American flag.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so interesting. I would never expect that to be the first post on Instagram. So how did that situation come to be?
I used to work for Zelka Energy Solutions, and he was, yeah. Oh, I've had so many jobs in my life. And that just happened to be one of them. And they knew I was an artist, and they wanted me to make a mural, and he was in the Marines.
Oh.
And so he was just like, oh, I would really love if you made a mural for us of the American flag. And I was like, okay, why not? You know, John is his name. He's a really cool guy. He's a really nice man. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll do it for you.
John.
Yeah, awesome, John.
That's cool. So, one thing. Is this your actual first Instagram post, you remember? Or did you have stuff before that? So I noticed it was just all art from the beginning on your page.
Yes. So I did a clean sweep.
You did too?
But years ago when I wanted to I'm like, let me find a focus here, and so it's all art stuff now.
You've done a very good job of keeping it dialed in constantly somehow.
Thank you. I mean, it's hard because I want to give people variety, but I'm trying to find that balance for myself. I'm a very reserved and private person, and I like to keep it that way. Mm-hmm. My family life and, my friendships, that's for me. I treasure that and I protect it. And that's why I don't really put it on blast like that. But for social media purposes, I know that I have to, it's a tool, mm-hmm. and it's a necessary tool. Doesn't necessarily mean that I like it all the time. Yeah, and consistency can be difficult, and that's something that I'm working on. I mean, when I leading up to the show, I was going heavy with the promotion, and I was on the 3, because I limit myself. I could never do X or what is considered Twitter now, which I think is ridiculous. But because I'm not a word person really, and to sit there and write a caption is a chore for me. Mm. But video and images, that's more my thing. And so I work mainly with TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. But basically with Facebook is a little lazy, as I think most people are. It's just they disconnect the Instagram with the Facebook, and whatever you do on Instagram, it just goes through. But yeah, I really enjoy TikTok, and I'm doing my best to control my time on it because it's a great tool. You learn stuff. You really do. You can learn a lot of things. I have so many recipes, food recipes pinned on there, mm-hmm. or places to go, places I want to travel to and stuff like that on there. I have so many saves. I'm look, I need to take one day and just focus on clearing this out, and focus on the save stuff for myself, and focus on what I really need, not because I just thought this was extremely funny and I said, oh, I'll share it with a friend I never got to do.
So our TikTok experience is very different. On the Moss House page, it's all these art establishments that we follow, and then I try to find a balance of funny stuff because that usually does well, and then posting about all the art and things are going on here, which is fine. But then my actual thing, I just make funny videos, and that's my entire page. There's no knowledge being given or gained in my TikTok experience over there. Sometimes I see a cool recipe, which is interesting. And I do like to make random things every once in a while. That's kind of a new thing I do. Mm. So I am a fan of the recipes appearing on my For You page. But it's usually just the crazy people.
For You page is really a rabbit hole. It's it's our current wiki walk. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You just, that word, that sounds cool to me. Let me press that button. And then 30 minutes later, you went to something completely different. So yeah. Which
is so one of my biggest inspirations to make art is music, and often if I'm just scrolling through, I'll hear something oh crap, that's perfect for a TikTok idea I had 3 months ago, and then for the next hour, I'll be sucked in making a TikTok because that's how I get my creativity out now a lot of the time because that's I just do whatever I want. Mm-hmm. So that's a nice release. But some reason music is just how inspires me the most often, which kind of segues into this next question I have for you. Kind of long-winded. Okay. So I noticed almost all of the art that I've seen, at least in this show, and I'm able to find, focuses on people. So do you ever find yourself in a creative rut, or do the people around you always keep you inspired to create more?
That's a beautiful question.
Thank you.
That's well thought out. I am knocking on wood. I'm fortunate and blessed not to have creative ruts, And it's because I just, yes, people do influence like the thinking process. I'm like, or I see, for example, I see for Brianna's piece, I initially had her model for a completely different concept, not at all this, and wasn't even anticipating having a show here. I'm like, I'm super fortunate and happy to have one, but I was like, that wasn't the intention. I was just wanting to create a body of work. And I just happened to, you know, get in contact with her and asked her to be my model. And, you know, we made it happen. But throughout that process, I kept on telling her something is off. Something is off. And we went through with it because she has this beautiful tattoo. And once I saw that tattoo, I was like, this idea is gone. Like, this is that. And it took me 3 weeks after the fact to realize that the work had to be, I mean, it needs to be about that tattoo. Like, that had to be the focal point of that piece. So the old idea went out the window, and that became the new idea because it's kitsuki. So it's the ancient Japanese art of taking, like, for example, a porcelain bowl or a piece of, you know, sculpture that broke, and back in like the day they would just take like gold and fill it because now you're repurposing it, but also it has new significance and it's still beautiful, right? And so I really love the meaning behind that, and that's what made that piece happen. But often it's like I go about and I like to people watch a lot and I'm like, someone's hand or someone's hair, the way they walk, I find it beautiful. I think a lot of people, we all have our insecurities, but I think we could all find something in ourselves that we like about ourselves, or something that we might not like about ourselves, someone else might find attractive. And so I often like go about the day, I was like, oh, I wish I had time to like draw the hand or even like in nature, you know. Sometimes I go backpacking a lot, or like I go backpacking not as often as I like to, or my husband would want to because he wants to live in the forest. But like I'll have like a notebook and well, not a notebook, but like a little sketchbook, and I'll have like either dry supplies. Actually, on a few of the trips, like the smaller works, I actually did it backpacking.
Really?
Yeah. So
any chance the turtle one?
The turtle one started, the background started when I went on backpacking trip. So I had to be very delicate and very planned out how I had my backpack arranged so it didn't get squished, because that's illustration board. So even though it's hard, I have like my sleeping pad, my pillow, my dry food, all this other stuff, because you're out there in the woods for 4 days maybe.
Wow. And
you know, and I have to be very cautious about like water and stuff like that, because if we're going to high elevation, you can't get to water. So you have to be very like aware of that. So you have to plan in packing. So I had to plan about the artwork that I was going to make while on site.
Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah. For some reason, when you were saying, oh, I go backpacking, I was like, stupidly, I was like, oh, she just puts on a backpack and starts walking around. I was like, with like her art supplies. And you're like, yeah, we go out there for 4 days. I'm like, oh God, that's a long time. That is a long. The only time I've ever gone camping, I went to sleepaway camp.
Okay.
And then it wasn't really camping, but then they're like, okay, guys, we're all going to actually camp in a tent, and they put a bunch of tents, and we're all being like bad and like not going to sleep and like just outside. Then a bunch of wolves started howling. So
where were you?
I don't even know. Somewhere in Connecticut.
There's wolves there?
Well, and then we drove somewhere. So I know the camp was in Connecticut, and then they like took us somewhere else.
Because bears, that is a thing. That is bears definitely a thing.
Yeah.
And I've never watched, like, some people are like, oh my God, I'm so scared. How could you go in the woods? There's bears. Like, because they've seen those videos. I'm like, listen, I am going to just, you know, ignorance is bliss in this situation. I don't intend to watch those videos. I do have bear mace. We're going to see how it goes. You know what I mean?
I don't think you're going to run into a bear usually.
I mean, we've been
you never know.
Close, like, you have to, like, when you go backpacking, you have to take your food and eat anything, like, for example, toothpaste, brush, if you brush your hair, that has your scent. So you have to put that and actually go 10 feet out or 15 feet out from where you're sleeping, and you have to hang it like up on a tree. Or there's bear cans, so they're like little balls, and you can put your stuff in there away from your campsite, and technically the bears can't get into the can.
That's what they say.
But it sometimes does happen. And we've heard like in camping situations, we could be like in the next campsite over, and typically we don't go to like, you know, yeah, it's car camping, but we go to like backpacking, like we're in the woods. And we do hear people saying like if you're at the trailhead and you're, you know, just putting your stuff away or getting back to the site, you'll hear people saying, oh, we had a bear on site. Yeah. Wow. It's crazy. I was just like, I'm so happy that hasn't happened to us. Yes. I've seen snakes.
Snakes?
That's crazy. Rattles.
Rattlesnakes, really?
Yeah.
Where on earth were there rattlesnakes in the woods?
They're in they're in upstate New York.
Really?
Yeah.
What the hell?
But they let themselves be known.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. Like they warn you that they're there. Oh. And they like to chill on rocks, you know, because they want to be in the sun or whatever. But you hear it, and it's like, it's like blood curdling. It's just, no.
When I go deep in the woods, the only thing I'm really like watching out for is like wasp nests in the ground, which I have stepped on before when I was a kid.
Oh, so that's why you watch out for them.
Well, luckily I like did not activate them. I think it was like a dead one, but then ever since then I was like, oh my god, that would have been the end of my outdoor fun for who knows how long. That's why I like keeping a lookout for now when I go out in the woods. And I don't know why on earth they'd want to be underground, those damn wasps. I hate wasps. They're just annoying. I don't know what they're around for. They don't make honey. They just sting people.
Just like mosquitoes.
Yeah, mosquitoes. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Mosquitoes, wasps, and ticks.
Oh my god. I was about to say ticks.
Yeah. Especially around here. Don't go laying around in the grass around here, whatever you do.
We have like a family of deer that is like 6 of them in our backyard. They come visit, and it's just like, I love the deer, but where there's deers, there's ticks. Yeah. There's ticks, yeah, for sure. I do check myself, even like I like to do grounding, so I like to walk barefoot in the grass. I definitely go check my foot when I go back home.
I would
back into the house,
dare,
basically.
Yeah, I would not dare to do that. As a kid, I mean, like sometimes you have to like walk, especially if you come back from the beach. I don't want to track sand in the house.
Yeah. So
I got to walk through the grass. But then I'm like, oh god, I definitely have a tick now. I just feel like there's always one on me. When if I had to go barefoot or wear like flip flops outside, I'm like, oh, here we go, tick time. So, yes, interesting. How do you find your models?
Luckily, like, you know, they're my friends, or, you know, we're kind of know each other on Instagram, and I just think about, wow, I think about a piece, and either that person, they come to mind, or the idea comes to mind, and now it's me trying to find the person to fit that idea. And that's how that happens. And I'm like, and I get so nervous. It's like asking, like, really, when you ask, for me at least, when you ask someone to be your model, it's like asking someone on a date. Because it is a very intimate, like, it's a very intimate process. So you have to be, like, very comfortable and lay out, the rules as how it's going to go. If you ever feel uncomfortable, let me know, you know, whatever the case may be. But luckily, I've been very fortunate. Like, the people that I've worked with are, like, really cool. And, like, they're my friends, so.
Do people ever reach out to you and be, like, asked to be, like, one of your models?
No. And
really? That's so surprising.
Is it?
Yeah.
I like to keep it that way.
Right.
I mean, it's like, if it's a commission, sure, that's cool. But most of the time, like, I have a specific, like, idea in my mind, and it needs to get out. And if I'm not satisfied, if it doesn't, obviously I've had to learn to, like, modify the picture that's in my head sometimes. But usually, because that's how it's supposed to manifest itself into reality. But for the most part, I have, like, a clear idea of what I want, and I'm sticking to that vision. If someone were to ask me, I'm going to have to find out a way to, like, say no, but gently with grace, not like just flat out no. Because I'm doing my best to have a little bit more grace and not be so blunt, because I tend to be sometimes.
You just want to tell them, hell no.
I
don't know who you are.
No, I would never say that. That I would never say, or think. But it's just like, literally the thought that would come across my head. I'm like, why are you making this so awkward for me right now? I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, just, can we move on to the next topic, please?
Maybe one day there'll be a piece for you. That's what I would say.
Oh, thank you for that. I'm definitely going to use that.
Really?
If the situation came in, like, if I was ever presented with that situation, I would definitely use that.
Nice. Problem solving at its finest. For something that might not ever happen.
I'm not trying to. That's great. Like, that's really nice.
Right?
Yeah. Huh.
Wow, I'm a little more gracious than I thought. Let people down easy. All right. Well, I guess back to the question.
We're digressing. It's like, let's stay focused.
Okay. So I have a lot of questions written down, so I'm going to try to speed through them, because I know I haven't mentioned it yet, but I know we want to talk about ghosts.
Yes, we do have to talk about ghosts.
So I guess where did you see your art taking you when you decided to become a full-time artist?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I didn't believe myself for a very long time. I was very in denial of it. Basically because, again, going back, my family is first generation. They sacrifice so much for you to be here. So you have to think about, all right, I don't have time to play around. Like, I have to make something of myself. And I thought, my grandfather was a shoemaker back home. My grandmother would sell fabrics in the Central Market, or Ex Cuartel. It's like a big artisan market in El Salvador. And back in the day, up until now, people would buy material to take it to the seamstress, or that they would sew at home. And my grandmother would do that. And knowing that, and I've always loved clothes, and I love vintage clothes. I was just like, all right, my mom is business savvy, so let me take a business course in fashion, make my career on that. And I didn't even fully did that. I did more window design for about 10 years.
Really? Window design?
Yeah, I was a visual merchandiser for about 10 years. And I was the visual merchandising manager for Diesel for about a year. Visual merchandising for Lucky brand. I did it for Bloomingdale's. Opened a few stores in the city.
Bloomingdale's?
Mm-hmm.
I have a nice story about Bloomingdale's.
Yeah. And but I was getting burnt out because I was going to school. Like, at that time, I was going to college full time and working full time.
Wow.
So I was getting burnt out because all of these moves, like a floor set, is done at night. And so you would do slight modifications of your floor set during the day, but you have people shopping, the inventory, and you have to think about different outfits. Like, people think when you go into a store, now we have the internet, but we've always had it. It's not going anywhere. But when you go into a store and you see a dress on a mannequin, or an outfit on a mannequin, and then you pair it with your jeans, it's crazy. That was planned for you. Someone has actually thought about the many outfits or combinations of colors or whatever that one can make for this. So you actually plan it out. Like, you create a map and you actually plan it out, and you have your team help you, and you'll just start with putting a piece of clothing on a mannequin and stuff like that, and then they just follow suit, and you fold the way you want it to be stacked. Everything's planned out. So I did that for 10 years. But then it wasn't until the pandemic that I really started to take it. Unfortunately, like a lot of people, I lost my job at that time, and I had the time, and I had a commission that I'm not probably throwing myself under the bus, but I wasn't really feeling it at that time. And I was like, you have plenty of time. I created an Excel spreadsheet of what my day was going to look like.
Very organized.
Yeah.
Organized. Wow.
Yeah. And so all right, so you're going to create, do yoga in the morning, eat breakfast, whatever, to have a routine. Cause you could get, during that time we were stir crazy. So I was like, let me develop a routine for myself. And I create and place the time to do art. And I got that piece done, and I started video the process, and people really liked it. So I started creating more pieces, and it was really encouraging that I was still, through my art during that time, was making some kind of income because of prints or paintings that I was selling during that time. So I was like, it gave me the confidence that I needed to pursue it even further. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Well, so then, I guess, what is your dream now then?
You said full-time, to make it full-time.
Oh, to make it full-time?
Because I do work, you know.
Any other talents or hobbies that you like to do? Not involving art.
Ooh. I'm a strong swimmer.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm a strong swimmer.
How, what does it mean by, like, you're very good at swimming, or what's a strong swimmer?
Yeah, I'm very good at swimming.
Where do you like to swim, like the ocean or pools, or?
I love the ocean.
Wow.
I love the ocean. I actually, I went to El Salvador once. Well, not I go to El Salvador often, but that one time I went to El Salvador, I took a surfing class. Humbling. Very humbling experience.
The ocean always knows how to teach you a lesson.
It is. The surfboard went up. It smacked me in my lip, and
ouch!
It was full of blood. The instructor, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, we're getting." Now I'm like, "Now this is personal. We're getting on this board." I got on it like on a baby wave, but it was humbling.
I would like to try surfing one day. I love the beaches over here.
Oh, the beaches here are amazing. Mm-hmm. They're beautiful.
And every once in a while, you'll get to a perfect day where the ocean is a little more angry than usual. And these great, when I was a kid, I used to just like fight the waves, try to like stay up in them. It was fun. I also almost got pulled down in the ocean one time. Like recently with my, went to Florida, and there was you know how they have the flags telling you like the, how bad the riptide is or whatever. It was a black flag, which is like, do not even go in the water. And me and my friends couldn't even see the flag. It was like, we didn't even know. So we went out there, and we had these goggles. We looked like dorks. We were like looking around in the water. We saw this school of fish. We were like chasing the fish. And then we were like adults at this point. We just looked like idiots. And then we like look up, and we're like, where the hell are we? And we were like not anywhere near the beach. We were just like all the way, like probably like a half mile down the shore. Like, what the hell? And I was trying to tell him, I was like, okay, you have to just like kind of like go with the current. And he was like, I'm gonna fight the current. And he just like somehow like,
oh, he got so exhausted.
We were so tired at the end, but he just like went right through it somehow.
Oh,
I've never
no.
seen anyone do that before. And even I don't know people who like get sucked out to sea and like swim against the current and survive. But then afterward, I was like, we definitely almost died there. And
yeah, riptides aren't fun.
Yeah,
riptides are fun. I got caught in like 2. It's scary.
It is scary.
It's very scary. And then you just have to like surrender. Like you really like, you know, you have to let go of what you think is control and let this thing take you for however long it's going to take you. I had a guy offered me like, cause I was racing with my dad to get back into the boat. We were fishing and he was like, oh, I bet I can get to the boat before you. And I was like, okay, you know? And so challenge accepted. And so I'm swimming, and I'm thinking I'm beating him, but I feel that the boat is getting further and further away from me. And my dad was just like, I told you to go around the front. You went directly, like, you know, laser focused to the boat. And he's like, the current is now going to take you, and you're just going to have to go with it. That was scary.
That does sound scary.
That was scary. And then a guy was watching all this happen, and he was fishing. He's like, I can fish you in. But I know going fishing, like when you hook a fish, it goes. You can't take out the hook the way it went in because it has like that little. It has a little
that
like
thing,
a little hook.
Like,
it has a spike that comes out, so you actually have to push the hook all the way through the hand to get it out. And I thought of that as I'm like exhausting myself like with air, because I'm doing my best to swim, fighting against the current, trying to catch my breath. I'm like, you know what? I don't want a hook in the hand. Let me just chill. And I had to just go with it.
Yeah, I definitely don't want a hook in my hand either. It sounds so horrible. I did not realize that you have to go all the way through.
Yeah,
you have to push very often.
You have to push it out. Yeah.
Ouch.
Not fun.
Yeah. Okay, I got a couple more questions for you. if you could have an art installation anywhere in the world, where would it be?
The Brooklyn Museum of Art.
That's a good one. Good pick. I thought you were gonna pick somewhere not in America, but that's interesting.
No, also not. There's a few places, but if I were to pick one, because it would be full circle almost, because that's where I got my scholarship.
Oh yeah, you have to get a show there at one point.
Yeah, putting it out to the universe.
Yeah. That was the whole scholarship. You just be like, you guys gave me a scholarship once. Look what it did. Look at me now.
Yeah,
I'll give you a show. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be really cool. Or just to, like, have a piece to be in group show, something like that would be really cool.
I was just.
But you know what? You're right. I should dream bigger.
That's a nice solo show at the Brooklyn Museum of Art. That would be very cool.
That'd be really cool.
I saw you were in Mocha Lights.
Yeah.
In 2021. What did you make for that?
I was in Mocha Lights for 2021 and 2022.
Oh, wow, back to back.
Back to back. I did. So I had a show at a gallery, Muñeca Art House, in 2021, and I took one of the pieces from that, two of the pieces in that show, and it was projected on the facade of the building of what is Mocha. And then two pieces from this show, because I already created them prior, were also on the facade. It never gets old. When you see your work on a building, it's just like, it's like a kid. It's like wow, that's me. It's like, kid with Christmas lights. Like it's amazing. It's a great feeling.
It is amazing. I was just featured there.
Yeah,
that was my first
that.
art show, I guess. Yeah, first art show has nothing to do with Ma's house, but I guess it did something to do with Ma's house in the end. But I saw everyone else's art. It was like these 3D animated, like extravagant pieces, and I was like, what the heck? I was so confused. I was like, I just made a video. I was like, oh god. But that's what I was supposed to do anyway. But then there's this one in particular of this, I don't even know how, just the light show aspect. Some people are so amazing at making light shows that I was like, this person needs to be doing visuals for like Madonna's tour or something, or someone, Beyonce, I don't even know. I was like, what are they doing here at Mocha Lights? This is crazy.
I mean, I want to play, like, they offer great tutorials, and I wanted to make something animated with one of the pieces from this show. I guess I'll do that I won't put it out there, and I'll keep it to myself, but like I would like to animate or featured a piece of animation with the work, and they offer tutorials, so I just have to sit there and look, and learn.
I love animation, although I do not want to make any animation myself because it's just something I'm not interested in. But I would love to be like, here's my animation idea. I'll storyboard it all. I need someone to animate this for me, please.
Okay. So
That's
you want to be like
love.
the creative director of it.
Yeah, I would like just to be like write the story, and then someone animates it, maybe design the characters, because I can't draw very well. I could draw it maybe one time well, and then someone's gonna take it from there, and I'm just gonna have to hope for the best that they bring together my dream.
I'm also like, I want to feature like a GIF, right? You know how they teach you how to like create that. That I'd be more interested in doing, like a full animation. I'm a little bit analog. Like, I just get, like, if I don't have to be on the computer, I don't want to be. If I don't have to watch TV, I don't. And that's why I listen to, like, a lot of podcasts. It's like radio. So I really like that. But yeah, I like, I don't think I'll be fully animating, but it's good to know. This is good skills to have under your belt, and, like, add another dimension to your work that's, like, unexpected.
Do you ever make one of those sticky note animations before?
Oh, like the ones that move? Yeah. I think we all did.
Yeah, those are fun.
Those are really fun.
So that's like the analog version of animation. I used to make, just with the ball, I would make it bounce all around.
If you think about it, like the way it used to be done with the cell sheets, yeah, that was basically the same thing, yeah. But layers and layers of different sheets of drawings or whatever to make a, like, for example, I don't know, Bambi, example.
I can't even imagine what, like, an original cell sheet of Bambi would go for. like
Oh
on
my
the
God,
market.
right?
Yeah.
That would be insane. I should Google that afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know why I've been interested in like shell sheets. That's a hard word to say. Cell sheets.
Say that
Tongue
5 times
twister.
fast.
Shell sheets. No, I'm not even
No,
gonna,
don't
I'm
try
gonna
it.
ruin
Don't
it.
do it.
Oh my God, I just realized I didn't even really, we might have touched upon it, but we barely talked about like the artistic process of your work, like from beginning to end. We dabbled in like talking about how you picked, or you found people for your ideas, but we didn't talk about the painting process.
It's a stressful one. Like, I just love how people like people that you know, everyone's creative in their own way, shape, and form, but like people that are, you know, appreciate art often say it must be a relaxing process for you. It is not. It's not. At least for me. I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, it's very stressful, especially since I am very stubborn and I want what I want, and that means like I want whatever is in my mind to like show up on whatever surface I'm working on, and to that detail, right? And obviously, you know, sometimes it meets it, sometimes you come short, but you do your best to get there. And it just, like, for example, like back to the large piece in the show, Renacer en las Aguas de Mancagua, that the fabric on that, I did not want to see red for a few weeks. If I didn't have to paint red fabric, I didn't want to do it. If I didn't have to deal with waves and turquoise or water movement, didn't want to do it. Like, after it was done, my family said, "Oh wow, that's beautiful." I'm like, "I'm glad you think so, because I don't want to see it for a while." Like, I flipped it around, did other work, like was creating other work, and I honestly didn't see it for a good 2 months. 2 to 3 months, because I was just that done with it. I'm like, I don't want to see you right now. Like, you know, like if you have an argument with someone, like, you know what, I don't have words to describe the rage that I have inside. That's that feeling. And it's especially when it just feels like sometimes, like, technically you're just hitting a wall, and you can't work through it, you know, or around it. And there's no other, and you'll work around other parts of the piece. Like, oh, let me work on this cloud, or this, you know, I'm going to pull a Bob Ross, this happy tree, right? And then revisit this. And even when you're done with that and you visit it again, you're just forced to tackle it and just like push through. So there's parts of it that can be very stressful. And then there's parts of it that, for example, there's a small little piece. As soon as I got done finishing that big piece, I was like, I just need to knock one off, like just one that takes a day, maybe 2 for me to finish, like an 8-hour piece. And that was Amanecer, which means sunrise. And it was wonderful. It was great. This first time I was using gouache, so it was a new material. I got it done super quickly, and it just felt so good. It's just like, oh, this is good. This is the feeling I need, not that thing that I did earlier. But I mean, yeah, it can be stressful, and sometimes it really does bring you joy. But for a lot of people, say enjoy the process, and I'm like enjoy and I'm not. I'm a results person. I'm like, I want to see it done. I'm gonna be happy once it's done, but I'm doing my best to learn to enjoy the process.
It's hard to enjoy the process. I like trust the process a little bit better.
Really?
Yeah,
I think it's the same thing.
Well, trust the process that you're gonna get results from the process doesn't mean you have to like it.
True. Now that you say it that way, yeah. You're right.
Trust it. Hope for the best. It's a lot of people we do a lot of workshops here, and people, whenever we have like someone show up for the workshop first time, they're always like, "Oh wow, this is so therapeutic and nice," which it is for like doing something in art form that you're not like very proficient in trying to make a living off of is nice and therapeutic and can be like really fun. So like me, when I go to paint, it's nice. When I go to sit down at my damn computer and look at a screen for hours, it's work. It's just like, this is like editing, making sure all the voice things, like my ears are bad, I mentioned, so I had to like look at all the voice lines, like literally visualize all the sounds. that is quite the process and not very fun. But the end, it sounds nice and it's good. But the process, oftentimes, although it is hard to enjoy. Sometimes I enjoy like finding music for videos. I have to like put from out like copyright free music videos. That's kind of fun. Like finding a nice song, but like you said, some of the process sucks.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't notice that. Like sometimes it's like, oh, I need a beer. I need to just like chill. I need a glass of wine. I need to step away from this because I have like early on, I've been known to like just tear it up. I'm like, I'm done.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's gotten better.
It's gotten better.
It's gotten better.
Do you have a? This is not one of the questions I wrote down. Do you have any dogs or cats?
I do have a dog. His name is Panzon, which means belly.
Belly,
like chubby belly, panzon, like a little belly, and he is a chiffon, and it's not my dog; it's my father's dog, and that's his right hand, like his best friend. I have a dog, Panzon. I have a turtle. He's 30 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 30 years old, and his name is Don Ramon, which means Mr. Raymond. All right. He's cranky because he's antisocial. He doesn't socialize with other turtles, and he hisses at you.
I didn't know turtles could hiss.
Maybe
a snapping turtle.
Snapping turtles maybe just snap. I have no idea.
They don't
but they're huge. I've seen them in the wild, like in upstate New York. They just creep up on you.
Yeah. I really like it. My favorite thing in the show is that picture of the turtle.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah. It was a fun piece. It was fun. What stressed me out most about the piece was the background. To get the sandy bottom to ripple with the waves and give that impression. Oh my God, I was getting nervous. Yeah, it makes me sometimes there's some parts of I think of all of my work that make me really nervous. I go in there with fear, like, oh, how I'm gonna fuck this up, basically.
How we mess it? Well, you didn't. At least for the turtle, you did not mess it. I think that was done perfectly.
Thank you.
I looked at it. I was like, I wish I was that turtle right now.
I wish I was that turtle too.
And that turtle was having a nice time.
Yeah, just chilling, basking in like the rays of the sun that are going through the water. Yeah, for sure.
It looked like it was like the best. Oh well, the only reason I brought up was do you have any animals? Because now when I get frustrated at work, we just got a new dog. His name is Saka, and I'll go out to the dog and be like, "Hello, little buddy," and I'll say, "Can I have a hug?" And then
I love that.
Time for a hug, and then sometimes he doesn't want to give me one, but some other times he'll be like, "Okay, fine," he'll give me a hug.
Aww.
So that's what I do now. Before I would just. I don't even know. I don't remember what I would do. I think I would just get up and walk outside for a second and be like,
blow off some steam.
Like, God,
I do that.
Stare at my computer for too long because I just don't like staring at my computer for too long.
It makes your eyes sleepy.
Yeah, I had to get special glasses with like blue light stuff because my eyes would start to hurt. I had to wear my glasses. Now I have to wear my glasses when I'm at the computer for a long time. So I'm like, this is gonna mess up my eyes completely. So. It's a life of a computer guy.
I think it's a lot of people now. Like you said,
even the office.
Even office
jobs,
yep.
It is a lot. And they're doing things that are a lot less fun and creative than I am. And even I have to like step away after like an hour or two if I'm like getting frustrated. And they're not allowed to go take a break. Maybe I should not get an office job.
No, Google Docs, good times. Excel spreadsheets, awesome.
You like Excel and Google
No,
Docs?
I do not. No, I just being so sarcastic when I say that. No.
You did a really good job of perfecting the sarcasm right there. I almost couldn't even tell. I was like, oh. You know what? It was the thumbs up. It really made me not sure. Yeah. Okay, well, I think it's almost time for... This is when we would play the game, but we've transferred the game into a. Actually, I guess I want to ask you one more question before we talk about the ghosts.
Yeah.
What piece of work are you most proud of?
Oh wow, there's 3 pieces.
Okay.
So which I've been mentioning a lot, but like Renacer las Aguas de Mancaba, which is the largest piece. It's the largest piece I've ever done. Which is 4 feet by 4 feet. And then I have the glow-in-the-dark pieces, the triptych, you know.
The ones over there?
The ones on the...
I don't even know how you made those glow in the dark. That's just crazy.
It's the paint.
The paint just glow in the dark?
The paint just... It's black light paint from Liquitex. And I was just thinking... I forgot the photographer's name. He's based out of California. And I saw his work. And I just really... It really resonated with me. I'm like, I know what that feels like. And so I was like, how could I... I'm not a photographer. I do use photo reference, and I take that photography, but I don't. That's not like. There's a lot of. I know a lot of photographers, and what they can do with lighting is crazy. And so I don't have the patience for all that, for setting that situation up. No. But I saw the work, and I said, how could I do that with a painting, though? And that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, I can't create that with the lighting and all that other stuff. I could use it as a reference, but how could I put this into the painting? And so the 3 pieces, which is mi alma, impacto, and mi voz. Those are the 3 pieces that I'm proud of too. And it's something completely, I don't think if people were to see it, they would think it's me. But it's another side of me. You know, it's like a darker side of me, I guess. I'm like, I'm all love and light until I'm not, I guess. So, yeah.
Very interesting. So, now I really understand like that ball of light. Now I understand what you were doing.
Yeah.
It all makes, that's one of the great things about having a podcast is you can really learn to, like, now I know exactly what you're trying to do. And it grows my appreciation for the artwork.
Thank you.
It's always nice. Right. Well. Okay. Do you believe in ghosts or spirits?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's hear about some. Have you had any experience?
Yes, I have. But basically, it comes from. I think it's within my culture. I remember being a little kid, not doing my best not to listen to the conversations of adults, but being there anyway. They would tell my aunts and uncles. My mom would tell ghost stories. That they encountered, or there's a legend, and I've created a piece of work from her from a previous work. Her name is La Siwanava, and which translates to horrible woman, because she started as a beautiful woman. Her name was Siwewet, right? And the story goes that out of punishment, because she actually infuriated one of the gods, Teolok. He's all-seeing, all-knowing, kind of like Zeus, I guess, in a way. She had a child with an Indian chief, but she didn't know that he was, like, I guess, a demigod. She didn't know that he was also the son of Teolok. And out of that union was born a child, which his name is El Cipitío, right? And so out of that, she was a neglectful mom. And because the god was observing this from the heavens, he punished her. So she actually she lives her existence at riverbanks, kind of like a siren, luring men that are walking late at night or are extremely drunk into madness or into the water.
Well, she sounds a little scary.
And apparently my grandfather saw her, and so did my great-grandfather.
Wow.
And so they would talk about those kind of stories when I was a kid, or that they would see, like, their great-grandparents or things like that. So I definitely do believe. If I were to ever see one, I would faint. I honestly would not.
Really?
I think, no, I wouldn't do well with that. Like, visit me in my dreams if you want to. I don't want that either, but, has it happened? Yeah. But, I definitely do believe in ghosts.
So it's interesting that you wouldn't want to say hello. Or
no, I wouldn't.
I mean, what's the ghost stories? The woman's name you just...
La Siwanava?
Yes. If she was walking around, I'd be very scared.
Well, she presents herself as a beautiful woman. And then when she lures you in, she shows you her face.
Oh, it turns me into a crazy person.
And then if you look at her eyes, then she drives you into madness. It was said that a lot of men, like in villages and stuff like that, have become crazy because they encountered La Siwanava.
Oh, now you got to be careful when walking down near the river.
I think it's mainly in it's a Central American legend. But as for myself, like ghosts, yeah, because of culture, like, you know, you were raised with these like beliefs and ideas, and you know, but I think I've felt a ghost.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it was my grandfather.
Oh, what did they? How did they say hello?
He didn't say hello. Like, unfortunately, he passed away in our old house, and so, you know, that was hard. Like, you know, loss is always hard, but you were gonna have, like, you know, the wake, and you have people over the house, and so, you know, knowing that you're gonna have guests, you clean the house and stuff. And so mom was like, oh, go vacuum your grandfather. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I really don't want to do that. And then obviously she got me to do it, so I went. And it was like, you know, the movie The Sixth Sense? And I rolled my eyes when this happened. I was like, really? I kind of looked at the ceiling. I'm like, really? Are we being this cliche right now? But it was a coldness, like from the base of my foot all the way to the top of my head. And it felt like all the hairs just like went up.
Wow.
And I was just like, nope, not today. No, we are not doing this today. Nope, we're good. Ran downstairs, told my mom. And then I was like, you know, like, let's get some holy water. Let's do something. Like, I love him. You no longer belong here. You know, you need to cross over, and your business is done. Be at peace, and like, be where you need to be. We're good. You know, we miss you. We love you, but we're okay. Is basically what I was like. I went in the room, like, listen, I'm still going to get like reprimanded from mom if I don't clean this room. So we need to come up with an understanding. I literally was like, I felt crazy. Like, I was in the middle of the room. I'm like, listen, we love you. We miss you, but you need to be where you need to be, and it's not here anymore.
It does seem very scary. Like, sometimes I get chills like every once in a while, but like the full chills after someone just passed away would be trying to clean the room. But like, I have tried to reason with ghosts before. I'm just like, there have been times where I just like, I know they're there. I'm like, you have to. If it's like really dark. When I was younger, I was like, you guys can't be doing this at this type of hour. Please come to me during the daytime where I can know I'm particularly... It just feels more safe when the ghost is you in the day.
I don't know if it does, because that's what happened to me, like around 3 o'clock. Because I remember it, like 3:34. Like, no, why are we doing this? I'm like, the sun is still up. Like, I don't know which one's worse. Maybe I think I would. I don't know. I think I would. I'm a scaredy cat. Like,
in the middle of the night, it'd be pretty scary. Like
that'd be really
11 p.m. And then things are getting bizarre.
Yeah, no, I would never go to like a haunted house or anything like that. Nope.
Wouldn't go on purpose. Like, I wouldn't be like, I want to go to a haunted house. But if I ended up in a haunted house, I'm sure that I'd be like, great. Now I have to talk to these people, talk to these ghosts. I just had somewhat of a experience the other day. I was hanging out with a dog, and I had to wake up really early for something. And I came back, and I was just like laying on the couch, and I closed my eyes. And then someone put their hand on my shoulder for like a while, and I was like, what the heck is that? And then it like squeezed my shoulder, and then it just like was gone. And then I opened my eyes. I was like, what the heck was that? I wasn't asleep yet. Like, I was just like resting. So someone grabbed my shoulder in the house and just was like, hello, and then got out of there.
No, I didn't. Like, I don't know what to do. Or like, I know I'm just really sensitive. So I have, like, you mentioned, like, with your hearing, like, I have really great hearing. And so I know I'm very sensitive. I remember I couldn't stay long at the Colosseum in Italy.
Oh.
I could not.
It does sound...
I started to cry. I started to, like, weep.
So you're extremely connected to the
I don't know. You're getting this out, and I don't know. I'm just sensitive and weird, and awkward. So like,
that is an interesting place to feel the effects of other entities at the Colosseum, like somewhere that famous.
Well, hello.
Where extreme like battles have taken place.
Exactly.
People have died.
I mean,
tons of them.
And like
brutal ways.
Yes. Yeah. Fed to lions and beasts. Can you imagine? Nah.
So you know how you were talking about TikTok earlier? On my TikTok page, there's like this thing where people be like, choose your time to be like reincarnated in. For some reason, I like never swipe on them. I was like, let me just see what these are. One of them was like, come back as a gladiator in a coliseum. I'm like, what the hell? Who would pick this as a gladiator in a coliseum? Like, last place you want to be is a gladiator in a coliseum. As soon as Spartacus steps in the ring, you're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
I think I do believe in reincarnation, and this is not my first rodeo. I think I was here in the 1920s for sure.
1920s? Mm-hmm. In America?
No.
Where were you?
Maybe I have a feeling it was a Spanish-speaking country, or I'm either thinking somewhere in Latin America, or just Latin, like it could be French, whatever, Italian, or somewhere like in Europe. Yeah.
I think I'm new.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think
That's
I'm pretty
cool.
new.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, like, it's like, I'm going to cringe listening to this. I'm like, and now people are going to hear it, but hey, I put myself out there, so.
Like most people are like, oh, I mean, I don't know how new I am. I don't think I go back very far. I think I'm a relatively new soul.
And that's awesome. I feel like sometimes, this is going to sound really bad. Sometimes I feel like there's certain things that I'm like, this is oddly familiar. I wonder why. Like, it feels really comfortable. You know?
I see.
Certain things that are, what is it? It's like, this again? like,
this is the second time this happened to me in the past 3 lifetimes. This is bullshit.
I think, no, there's certain things that's just monotonous that feel, for me, sometimes extremely monotonous. You know?
That makes a lot of sense.
And I have to make it, like, exciting for me. You know, I'm like, let's add some color. Like, let's put some glitter on this. Let's do something. You know?
That's so interesting. I've never felt like I've done something that many times to where it's like, I felt like I've done it in another lifetime, but I do get extreme deja vu to where I think it has happened. When sometimes I think I lived the moment and then I went back somehow for a second and then it happened again. Like this literally just happened a second ago. How's it happening again? I don't understand how it happens. I don't know what phenomena causes this to happen. Either it's just like my brain backtracking a second and then it replays it. I don't understand.
It's like the most randomest thing, right? Like for me, it's either months apart or years apart. Like I'm like, this situation, but it always comes out positive. But when I thought about it, it did not end positively, or it just was uncomfortable, right? And it could be like me, for example, just looking for, I don't know, Tupperware in the kitchen, and I get up, and then they're like, whoa, like the lighting, the feeling, the flowers on the table, I was just like, this feels very familiar. And then I think about it, I'm like, this person's walking in now. You know, and then you have this conversation, and then when it has happened, I was just like, oh no, this is gonna be a heavy conversation, and it's like super light. Oh, where's the iced tea? I don't know, like where's soda? I don't, something like that. I'm like, okay. One thing I must say, I will never play with the Ouija board.
No, I'm not really interested in that either.
No. You're just open up a can of worms.
You're gonna let something in that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, I truly do believe in that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I also don't want to mess with magic. I feel like I'll say the wrong incantation and it'll be real. Somehow do something horrible.
You're supposed to use an incantation for a Ouija board?
No. If I was doing something I wouldn't mess with, but besides Ouija, if I came upon an old spell book for stuff, no. I'm not freaking reading any of that shit.
Don't open it.
Yeah, I might open it and be like, oh, let's see what they got in here, but I don't want to. I'm not going to start saying any stuff in there. Who knows what the spell's going to do?
Exactly.
Because words, you already put spells on people by telling them that they're powerful. Good at stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I could tell the next guest oh, you have an annoying voice on the thing, and then forever they'll be like, my voice is annoying on podcast. Sounds annoying. Or I could tell them they have a great voice for a podcast, and then they'll go around thinking they have a good voice for podcast. even if they're right or wrong, you can kind of control how people do that with spelling, by telling them stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. So,
you have to be very. I also like do my best to practice it in my life, is to be mindful of what I say. I know that I think fairly quickly, and I'm not a patient person. So sometimes the thought that's in my brain has literally just came out of my mouth, and I'm like, listen, that was not the greatest delivery. I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah.
I like to think that I've gotten better over the years, but sometimes I'm just like, I can be a little blunt or direct.
I used to be much worse with that. The worst thing I've ever said, I'll just say it for you. I'm definitely going to take it out of the podcast.
I'm going to love listening to this.
Yeah. I'm going to have to edit out a lot of this.
I'm going to definitely ask you.
We're at like an hour and 40, so we should probably get out of here. Yeah. Okay.
I'm surprised you asked me the question. How did you get to know Ma's
house? How did you get to know my house? Do you want to? Okay, we could do that real quick. Do you want to answer that question? You could do.
I mean, sure. It's convoluted though. It's a lot.
How did you discover Ma's house?
So it was like in the middle of the pandemic, and so everyone's doing like Zoom meetings and stuff. And so there's this. Her name is Dina, and she works for Planned Parenthood, and also Malika. She works for like several like nonprofits, and they do really good work. And so they invited like a panel of folks who artists, and they call it artists and activists. And I was honored, I was like, I didn't consider my work to be like, or that I was an activist, but hey, why not? Like, let me connect with others, right? And so Jeremy was one of the panelists on there. And it was like very like intimate Zoom meeting, like a few folks listening in. And how everyone gets together and they start researching like who else is on the panel. And so everyone like was kind enough to like friend each other, and I still follow these people to this day, and I follow Jeremy and like his journey at Ma's house, and I saw it growing, and then through Teatro de la Bruja with Margarita Espada, they did with the poet laureate Joy Harjo. Mm-hmm. They did a collaborative show like with the poetry and artwork, and so Margarita, who I've worked with several times or many times, invited me to be one of the artists, and so I showed a piece here initially, and then I also had work for she was doing a show at the Firehouse Gallery for Indigenous Peoples Month, and she wanted to focus on Latin America, so she invited me to show there. So I was showing here and there at the same time, and Jeremy went out, and that's where I met Brianna for the first time at that event. But I've been following you for like in the middle of COVID.
So right before I moved back to New York was when that poet event was out here. I forgot what they're called, the poet laureate.
Yeah, poet laureate.
Yeah, which I'm very upset I missed. I had no idea what was going on here. I think I was like just not paying attention to like anything.
It was really great. Like they had a bonfire. Like,
I'm jealous.
It was really nice because I love good bonfires. Yeah. So I was sitting there with Brianna, Denise was there, and you had several people take like excerpts from her poetry and read aloud. And then one day she was here. I wasn't able to be there that day, but it was cool to see all of that, and a lot of activities and a lot of things were happening during that time.
I was very surprised that she showed up because we were still such a small organization back then. We had like just started. It felt like they only had a couple artists in residence, but Jeremy's freaking famous, so I don't get it. All right. I think it's time for us to try to end the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Last question, and then we're done. Mm-hmm. Do you have any questions for me?
So, yeah, I do. What's on your list of places you need to travel to?
I have been thinking about Italy and Greece, and I have yet to go to anywhere in South America.
Oh.
Or Tokyo. I'd like to go to Tokyo also.
Okay.
Those are my places. What about you? I know we actually mentioned we were supposed to talk about travel. We just started talking about everything. We've honestly run out of time. So, but we just kept going. So now where do you want to go?
I want to go. Well, I want to eventually retire in El Salvador.
Nice.
I want to go to Costa Rica, Cuba. I want to say Costa Rica, Cuba. I haven't gone to the Puerto Rico DR, believe it or not.
I would like to go to DR.
I've been to Mexico plenty of times, but I'll revisit. It's huge, right?
I've actually never been to Mexico. I've been to Costa Rica.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
They have great surfing in Costa Rica. That's part of the reason why. And it's not too far. Guatemala, I want to go to Guatemala. And when going to Europe, and Asia. Like, I want to go to Indonesia, Bali. I want to go to Greece. I want to revisit Spain. I want to revisit Florence in Italy, specifically. I want to go back to Paris and also go to the countryside of France.
You should go to Bordeaux.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Sounds
over
cool.
there.
Probably do that.
They have an ocean area, too.
Oh, yeah?
And people
I
surf
love
there.
water, so yeah, that's probably a good idea for me to go.
That's where the wine's from.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that's where I'm from, too, over there. So.
And I think that's about it. Yeah.
It's a lot of places.
It doesn't sound like a lot. Like I'm thinking about like stamps on my passport. Technically, I've only been to like 8 places, I think.
I remember seeing like most people in America only like 15% of people have their passport. Most people just stay in the country forever. And then I'm like, wow, I've been like all over the world compared to everyone else. But I've barely gone anywhere in America, it feels like.
Same.
So that is somewhere I am trying to. Recently, I went to California. I've never been to California.
I want to go to the West Coast. Never been.
I loved California. I went there for my birthday with a bunch of my friends. All my original friends that we were talking about earlier. I went there. I was like, you guys want to go to California for my birthday? And they're like, yeah, okay. So we all went, and that was really fun. But like, I haven't been to like Texas. I haven't been like anywhere. I've only been like East Coast, really.
Yeah, same.
I want to go to Seattle. I want to see the damn Needle. A lot of places over there. Don't really want to go to like Alabama or anything.
No,
Maybe
I don't blame you.
Like, maybe I'd like go to the airport and then like take an Uber to a football, like Alabama college football game would be cool, and then getting out of there.
Like I've only been on. This sounds really bad. I've never been to the West Coast. Want to do that, especially I want to go backpacking, like in California. That'd be cool.
You gotta do it before all the forests are gone because of all the damn fires.
Oh, stop!
They're bad over there.
No, seriously, you're breaking my heart. No, seriously. Utah.
Yeah. I guess that'd be good for backpacking there.
The mountain ranges are amazing. Really want to do that. Honestly, like New York, Jersey, Maine, Florida, upstate New York, and that's about it in the United States.
Wow. I like upstate New York. People sleep on upstate New York.
Oh, people like upstate New York is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I like it there. And you don't realize how, because when you're driving, because we always drive, like New York is huge.
I went to school in Buffalo, and I used to make that drive all the time.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
I've
nice
visited
10-hour
Buffalo.
drive.
It's cold over there.
It's also very hot sometimes. It was like, well, when school starts, it's like super hot, and then it just drops one day, and you like walk outside and you can't breathe because of the wind. It's snowing every day. It's a mess. I mean, I still really like Buffalo. I think people should give it a try. If you're like looking for a city, I just did quotation marks. Buffalo is like a good faux city in New York. It still counts as a city, but it's nothing like people just imagine New York City. But Buffalo's pretty cool.
I remember going there in the summers in Buffalo. And I just remember a lot of strip malls.
Yeah, there's a bunch of malls. There's not much, but so like it looks like a city, but it doesn't feel like a city. Like they got the buildings, and they have like a train thing.
And it's
But there's,
very
like,
suburb.
Yeah.
In the sense, like, you can tell that these houses were, like, really mapped out.
Yeah.
Like, really mapped out. Like, it's really cookie cutter. Like, for blocks on end. That I remember.
Yeah. I remember going to school. They used to tell us, like, don't go. So, like, here's, like, all the school houses that people rent. And then it just, like, turns into very dangerous area very quickly. I remember, and people were like, just don't go over there. I remember, like, all the frat people would be, like, walking around, and I would try to, like, convince them to go that way. They'd be like, oh, which way is this place? I'm like, I don't know. You should go that way. Towards, like, the dangerous areas. I just thought it'd be like, oh, well, hopefully they are not dumb enough to not realize where they are. So that was my devious acts as a kid in college. Telling people to go the wrong way. So it's fun. All right, well, after a very long podcast, we almost hit 2 hours.
Oh, shit.
I'd say, and you told me you were an introvert before, so I think you lied to me. But it's good. It worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
So at the end, I think if you watch the end of the podcast, and you know that I like to give the artists opportunity to plug those social medias, their websites, whatever they want, give a shout out to anybody. And now's your time to shine.
Thank you. So you can follow me at Sueey Gutierrez Artist on Instagram, Sueey Gutierrez Artist on TikTok, Sueey Gutierrez on Facebook, and you could Google Sueey Gutierrez, and I do come up. And my name is spelled Sueey, Gutierrez, Gutierrez. And I hope you connect with me.
I will say, the way I said your last name and the way how you say your last name sound nothing alike.
And then
it's because I can't roll my R's.
And then there's SueeyGutierrez.com. So yeah.
Yes, I will be linking all that for everybody. And well, thank you so much for being on. It's nice to have someone on that likes the podcast. It's meant a lot. Gave me new strength to like, oh, maybe people like it, so we'll keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
And to everyone who made it to the end, thanks for making it. You guys are the best. Also, birthday shout out to my mother. I'm going to force her to listen to the whole thing for the birthday shout out now. And we'll catch you guys the next episode of Mouse House Podcast.